What is up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel.
Me too.
My face is looking extra greasy today, but I promise you I washed my face this morning. It's just the hormones kicking in, doing its thing. I'll be okay. No knee log this week because, not gonna lie to you, my week hasn't been the most eventful. But instead, today we're gonna talk about the most talked about show, the most popular show in Netflix history, Squid Game. 오징어 game, that's how you say it in Korean. I wanna talk about my opinion, my view on it. And some of you are gonna be upset to hear this. I thought the show was overhyped. But don't get triggered yet. Let me explain. So let's talk about what I liked about the show first. Let's be positive. So number one, the cast. The cast is stacked. There is Lee Jung-jae. He is easily one of my favorite Korean actors. He is so well known in Korea for his movies. He hasn't done a lot of Korean dramas, more known for his movies. Obviously, this guy can act. And did I tell you he's also fucking shredded? He used to be at least, but still mad props, mad respect. In addition, we have Mr. Gong Yoo. You guys know him from Dokkaebi or Goblin and Train to Busan. In my opinion, he is the best looking active Korean actor right now. I heard he's very, very expensive, and that's why he was in the show for only 10 minutes. I also read somewhere he's gonna play a bigger role in season 2, if there's gonna be season 2, that is. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Furthermore, we have Lee Byung-hyun. As if he wasn't successful enough, he decided to join this show, and look at where he is now. He's at a place where not a lot of Korean actors have been to. He's been in Hollywood movies. He's been in several hugely successful Korean dramas. I swear this guy is the reason why all these shows become successful. Name one show he's in that is considered mediocre. I seriously can't think of any. Besides the big three I just mentioned, we also have the supermodel Ho Yeon-jung, who easily gained the most fame and popularity from this show. To be honest with you, I've never seen her before prior to this show, but good for her. Her acting was honestly really good. And we have Park Hae-soo. I have seen him before, however, he wasn't as big as the other actors. Squid Game definitely uplifted his career. I'm very, very happy for him. And did you guys know he got a hair transplant? Some people are saying hair transplant is the reason why his career uplifted. But his before and after gives me hope in case something happens to my hair. I'm going to Korea. Number 2, phenomenal acting. Besides the top actors I just mentioned, even those who played these minor roles did a fantastic job. You know who I was really impressed with? The psychotic, crazy bitch. The psychotic lady. I'm gonna try not to cuss here. That role is played by Kim Joo-ryung. You know an actor has done a great job when the entire audience ends up hating the character. And she did just that. So good for her. The same token, her mans, the gangster, played by Ho Sung-tae, whom a lot of people also hated. I wanted to rip his head off the entire show. Did some research on him. He's 43 now. Back when he was 35 and had a stable office job, he decided to leave his job and pursue acting. Do you know how much courage it takes to do that? I'm trying to envision myself leaving my job right now to pursue a career I've never been in. I have zero experience in. It takes a lot of balls. It's even harder when you have a family, so mad respect to him. He definitely made the right decision. He was a great actor. Good for him. The only bad acting I can think of from this show are the VIPs, the white actors. I felt like they were reading off a script, like a freaking textbook. Terrible acting. Korean shows love doing that, by the way. It's almost like they don't want to spend a lot of money on these extras, so they decide to hire any foreign-looking Caucasian actors that have little to no experience in acting. Sometimes they're not even English speakers, so they have accents. Now let's discuss why I think the show was overhyped, yet still able to come this far. Let this sink in. It is the biggest Netflix show in history. And it's not an American show. It's not a European show. There's barely any white people in it. This is a Korean show. We refuted and defy the idea that we need main characters to be Caucasian for a show to be successful. South Korea made history, but I still think the show is overhyped, and let's talk about why. Number 1, the plot. This plot is very atypical. It's unlike any other Korean shows I've ever seen. I wouldn't even call it a K-drama because I don't feel like it is. So I'm going to call it a Korean show. It is a Korean show. In fact, many have said this show reminded them of Alice in Borderland and Battle Royale. So the plot lacks originality. However, it is very enticing and appealing to the Western audience. For example, the bathroom sex scene. When do you ever see this kind of shit in a typical Korean drama? Usually in a Korean drama, halfway through the show, the main couple barely hold hands. In addition, the gory and violent scenes. We don't really see this often in a Korean drama unless it has to do with zombies. Shout out to Kingdom, best zombie show in history. If you haven't seen that, you should go watch it. But these gory and violent scenes were just as much, if not more than those from Game of Thrones, and we know how popular Game of Thrones was. There's also not really any scenes where only Koreans would truly understand because of the cultural barrier. They did a solid job where groups from all over the world can really feel and understand every scene. Number 2, the diversity of actors. I'm seeing it in more Korean shows now, but Squid Game definitely had a diversity of actors, and this is excluding the VIP white actors that were basically extras. They didn't really have a lot of lines. But we had a Filipino actor. We had Ali, the Sri Lankan actor. At the end of the day, this is a Korean show, so it consists of predominantly Korean actors, but there were still non-Koreans, and I think it's really good to see that. Ali especially had a fairly big role. This is almost equivalent to K-pop groups recruiting non-Koreans. They want to be able to reach out to more countries, more groups. It's a strategic move, and it definitely worked. Number 3, timing. It hasn't been that long since Netflix started streaming Korean dramas. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the first one was back in January 2019, and that was Kingdom. And keep in mind, this was during COVID. Before Netflix, a lot of people were using other platforms to watch Korean dramas. But you gotta admit, Netflix is still the best platform to watch any shows because it's so easy and convenient. If Netflix has a certain show and other platforms are also offering it, I'm gonna go to Netflix. Since 2019, more and more Western users have been exposed to Korean dramas. Now, more people are less hesitant to try a new Korean show. In other words, that trial period with Korean dramas has ended a long time ago. And when Squid Game was released, there were no other shows that could rival Squid Game. And thanks to social media, people sharing memes, certain scenes, literally the epitome of snowball effect. Squid Game could not have been released at a more perfect time. So guys, I personally really enjoyed the first half of Squid Game, but the second half, I felt like my excitement and the thrill slowed down a bit. In my opinion, Squid Game is not an accurate representation of Korean cinema, Korean shows, Korean dramas. Squid Game reached its pinnacle because of its Western appealing plot. I believe when it was released in Korea, Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha was still viewed more than Squid Game. So I guess a lot of Koreans agree with me. Nonetheless, guys, I am very proud of this show and what it has done for the future of Korean cinema. Obviously, super proud to be Korean, even though I had to give up my Korean citizenship to become an American citizen. Deep down, I am still very Korean. Now I want to hear from you guys. What did you guys think of the show? Especially those who have been watching Korean drama since day one, like me. Do you guys feel the same way about it? Or did you guys think it was worth the hype? Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.